By the way, in that segment as well, believe it or not, and this is absolutely true, the Iranians on Iranian television are claiming that terrible massacre in Connecticut was committed by, who do you think? The Israelis. Apparently, an Israeli death squad carried out those terrible murders. Unbelievable. Why is there no peace in the region? We'll get to that later. So, Justin Trudeau is going to speak at a Roman Catholic school in Sudbury, Ontario, and the bishop, God knoweth how, has approved of this monstrosity. Trudeau is pro-abortion, pro-gay marriage, pro-euthanasia, pro-contraception, anti-church, anti-pope. The bishop, and I can only assume he's naive, responded that Trudeau was married in a Catholic church and is a faithful Catholic. Well, the fact is that he should not have been allowed to marry in a Catholic church because he's not a Catholic, and the idea that he is simply absurd. But none of this should come as any surprise. While there are many wonderful and faithful bishops, there are others who tragically are out of touch or out of place. I'm sorry, but that is the truth of it. As for Catholic schools, look, take a look at the Ontario Catholic English Teachers Association, OECTA, that's their name, OECTA, the OECTA 2012 Annual Conference Resolutions. Seldom, when I saw this, had I seen such a stew of self-importance, misplaced grandeur, and juvenile leftism. A bit of background first. In Ontario, as well as most of Canada, state-funded Catholic education is generally about as Catholic as an Orange Lodge meeting in East Belfast. Not everywhere, but many, most. Non-Catholics assume that eager little papists are indoctrinated into the Roman faith, but if only this was the case. The vast majority of Catholic teachers, certainly in Ontario, while often decent and dedicated, are non-practicing and even anti-Catholic church. They're divorced, gay, they abort, they use contraceptives, they live together, never attend Mass, they reject Catholic teaching, indifferent or even hostile to the religion they are supposed to be part of. There will doubtless be official letters and complaints now denying all this, but I challenge anyone to spend time in Catholic schools and with Catholic teachers and draw a radically different conclusion. Believe me, I've done so. I've spent the time to the perhaps 20%, if that, 20% of teachers who try to behave as Catholics. I salute you. I thank you. To the rest, have the courage and the integrity to teach in a public school. It's why the entire campaign to promote homosexuality in Catholic schools was so successful earlier this year. The minority of principals, teachers and trustees who defend Catholic moral teaching are attacked not just by leftist politicians, but by other staff members and by their unions. At this year's OECTA conference, there were various motions that, quote, endorse and encourage the formation of support groups in keeping with the philosophy and objectives of gay-straight alliances, blah, blah, blah. And the claim was made that this was in keeping with the teaching of the Catholic bishops. That was a downright bloody lie. Those alliances, they affirm homosexual behavior and the gay lifestyle, while the bishops were careful to distinguish between protection of children who might have same-sex attractions and the political and aggressive agenda of the so-called gay-straight alliance movement. Then we had at the conference the now obligatory resolutions condemning and calling for the boycott of Israel, of course, which is particularly racist and repugnant in that almost 15,000 Syrians have now been slaughtered by an Arab dictator and thousands of other Arabs killed by their leaders in various neighboring states. But you know what? Jews are far easier to isolate and to attack, and the Jewish state is obviously of enormous interest to Catholic teachers, probably during their months of vacation, numerous sick days, or when they're spending their incredibly generous pensions. To round it all off at the conference, lefty writer, is she still around? Is she really still around? Linda McQuaig and Canadian Labour President Ken Giargetti spoke. Now, I wonder how many of your tax dollars Linda, hi Linda, got for this gig, because she demands big money, and in what way she is pertinent to the formation of young Roman Catholic children. OECTA comrades, you're not manual workers, you're not oppressed, you're not taken seriously, you're lucky, you're pampered, and your churlish lack of gratitude and painfully selective political posturing are ludicrous. Maintain the Catholic school system. Increasingly these days, genuine Roman Catholics, many genuine Roman Catholics wonder why we bother. As for Trudeau, Bishop, with the greatest of respect, and I'm sure you mean well, but it profit a man nothing to give his entire soul for the entire world. But for a few moments, with little Justin Trudeau? So you heard the monologue, and I understand there are twin solitudes, if you'll excuse the pun, around all of this. There are many non-Catholics who assume that Catholic schools are very Catholic. They're not. And Justin Trudeau, little Justin Trudeau. Hello, Justin. How's the substitute drama teaching going? No surprise at all. He's been invited to a Catholic school to speak because the school is not really Catholic. And hey, you know, he's cute and trendy, and they'll always say, oh, isn't he wonderful? I'm sure the women teachers, if they're not on strike, we want their photo taken with him. But Justin Trudeau is vehemently opposed to the most profound fundamental Catholic teaching. He shouldn't have been allowed in the school, but I can tell you most informed Catholics are not surprised that it happened. What has surprised us is that the bishop, many bishops would have just said nothing. We would hope that a bishop would say, this is wrong. But they're in a tough situation. Often the schools won't listen to them. But the bishop there, who, I don't know the man, and I mean no disrespect. I have great reverence for his role, for his office. But he then came out publicly to support Justin Trudeau, to say he's a faithful Catholic. He's not. He's not. Jack Fonseca from Campaign Life Coalition joins us. I was very surprised when I saw this, because we've all known bishops who won't say anything, just shh. But to come out and support a man who has said, I support full abortion rights, I support same-sex marriage, contraception, euthanasia, I think opposition to gay-straight alliances. What was the word he used? Repugnant?
He called the Catholic Church, the bishops, and the Catholic School Trustees Association repulsive.
Repulsive. For
opposing gay-straight alliance, homosexual clubs, and Catholic schools.
Right. And these were not people who dislike gay people. These were people who said gay-straight alliances are contrary to Catholic teaching. Right. They were repulsive. But a bishop, if this bishop comes forward now and says, I got this wrong, and we must all be humble, fine, you get things wrong. But so far he hasn't. But he came out to say that a man who is an aggressive anti-Catholic is a faithful Catholic who was married in a Catholic church. He shouldn't have been. Mm-hmm. This is confusing to me. And I've got to tell you, sorry, before I'm taking up too much time. Being in the public eye a little, I had a lot of emails from Catholics saying, if this is what's happening, why am I bothering anymore?
Yeah, yeah. It was very shocking. Because it went much farther than simply saying, hey, let's not judge, let's not cause a ruckus. It was, claiming that he's not estranged from the Catholic Church, that is Justin Trudeau. And I must say, we have great respect for the bishop there and great affection for him. And he's actually stood on the stage with us at the National March for Life that we organize. So he supported the pro-life movement very strongly.
Could he have been misinformed? Could somebody have told him things that weren't true?
What I believe is likely is that, we know from our experience that bishops do not have the capacity to conduct extensive research.
Of course, yeah.
So I suspect he is not aware of the anti-Catholic, pro-abortion extremism that Justin Trudeau has advocated for. His public statements to the media, and I'll give you just one example here. Just in February of this year, Justin Trudeau told CBC Radio Canada that he would break up the country if he would support Quebec's separation from Canada if Stephen Harper were to restrict abortion or restore the true definition of marriage.
Which are both fundamentally Catholic principles.
Fundamentally Catholic. Those are anti-Catholic
He
positions.
would break the country up rather than allow Catholic teaching to influence Canadian politics.
Yeah, so obviously this wasn't known. Here's another quote from Justin to CBC television in French. He said, quote, as a politician, I have political positions on gay marriage and on abortion that don't at all resemble those of the Catholic Church, end quote.
So people watching who have no religious beliefs, and that's entirely up to you, he doesn't have to be a Catholic, but just have the honesty to say, I'm not. I was raised French-Canadian, there's a certain Catholic culture, but I'm not a Catholic. Well, that's up to him, but don't lie, don't pretend.
Well, and it goes further than him just not being a Catholic. He's a public heretic. I mean,
we're going to burn him.
He's a public heretic.
It's getting cold out there.
No, it's not that. You look up the Catechism of the Catholic Church, the definition of heresy, and you see Justin Trudeau's picture. I'm kidding, but the definition, you read the definition and it lines up exactly with this man. Heresy is the obstinate post-baptismal denial of some truth which must be believed with divine and Catholic faith, or it is likewise an obstinate doubt concerning the same. And so that's what he fits in as. He's a public heretic. He advocates for breaking the fifth commandment, thou shalt not kill, by his public advocacy for abortion on demand. And there's absolutely no way that this man should be permitted to speak to Catholic students, as he has done in Sudbury.
He has, and he'll do so again. It's not that he's a liberal. Politics, party politics aren't the issue here. There are many, well, there are quite a few Catholics in the Liberal Party. Often they fight a difficult battle because they do stand up for life and marriage and family. Even if they don't. I mean, I have friends, senior people in the Liberal Party who disagree with me on these issues, but they don't say they're Catholic. They're whatever they are. I don't care what they are. That's up to them. There is a contradiction here. And again, I'm not here to criticize the bishop, but he's a shepherd. And it's in a Catholic context, Trudeau's soul is in danger here.
Absolutely.
And the bishop has to say to him, you're in trouble. You're calling yourself a Catholic, but not only are you wrong on issues, you're leading people astray. All these kids are going to be influenced by you. He said he was a great influence on the children, didn't he? The bishop said he could be inspiring. Well, what are you going to inspire them to be? And this is really problematic. We're talking about eternity. If you believe, and it's Christmas, if you believe eternal soul, where do you spend eternity? And Justin Trudeau has got it wrong, and a bishop has to say, I'm sorry. Well, I have to correct you here.
Yeah, absolutely. The reason why there's parents and Catholics in Sudbury protesting.
Yeah, it's a big protest. Yeah.
They've been protesting for 3 days now. They're going to protest right through Friday, which is the scheduled day that he's supposed to speak to St. Charles College High School. And they're protesting because of the risk of scandal to the faith of Catholic children. Because by giving this man a public platform, it suggests to the students that we support what he says and what he believes. And that could lead to some children saying, gee, well, he supports abortion on demand, he supports homosexual marriage.
You can be guaranteed it will.
So if he can call himself a faithful Catholic, so can I, and I can believe those things too.
The questions are being vetted, we know that. They're going to be very careful, he's not exposed to anything controversial, but look, the bishop could have had a bad day. He could have been caught off guard. Maybe he was asked a question in a very aggressive manner and reacted in a way that he wouldn't today or tomorrow. I understand that. If he in any way wants to contact Sun News privately, completely privately, and explain what went on, if he wanted to do that and we could help him out in some way, at the moment, this is an open wound. And the media loves it because they can bash the Catholic Church and support Justin Trudeau, and that's almost like Christmas for mainstream media. Appreciate you being here. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.